Hello folks, FuzzfingerGaming here. Thank you for joining me as we continue on with our FF13-2 walkthrough.
Desolate grassland, a wild place where the rule of might prevails, and the weak exist only to feed the strong. A tribe of tough, proud people live off these lands, hunting monsters for their sustenance. But now, the hunters are whispering of a fearsome newcomer to the prairie that threatens to upset the precarious balance of their lives.
We're off to the Archylte Steppe today, and we could be here for some time depending on how much optional stuff you want to do. But we'll start off by getting all the story stuff done first.
Look, that's their prey.
Wow.
They seem desperate. Like, they gotta get this one or there'll be nothing else to eat.
Really? I guess you have to be a hunter to tell.
Let's introduce ourselves.
Sure.
Okay, so the first thing we need to do when the game is loaded
We should talk to those people.
is
Maybe they can tell us what's
just
going
turn
on.
to the right here,
Good idea.
and you'll see the camp, and you'll see an opening. Go through that. Head into the camp. After you've entered the camp, you'll just want to head to the left, and then you'll find some steps which you should need to go up. So just round here, there they are. There's a chest up here you can grab as well. Then you want to go up the second set of steps just here and speak to the guy at the top called Tipper, or Typer.
Listen, we could do with an extra arm. You help us, and I'll give you this map. If you're here to hunt, find someplace else.
You guys aren't exactly hauling it in. Prey getting scarce?
Yes. Ever since that storm blew up, these lands were teeming with game before that. Friends went to investigate the storm, but they never came back.
Once the conversation's finished, you'll want to talk to him again.
So, you want to know what brought on the storm? My friends are out there assessing the situation, but even if I knew, I wouldn't tell anyone that wasn't a hunter.
But Noel's a hunter.
Don't look so surprised. She's right, you know.
Really? Then you wouldn't mind if I put you to the test. Let's see what you can do. We've been getting harassed by a pack of monsters lately. Think you can get rid of them for us? We're counting on you. No one knows why they appeared all of a sudden. What are they after?
Okay, so it's time to do our first quest. Just set relentless assault as my default paradigm. And just jump off the cliff here and head straight to the waypoint.
We should search somewhere in this area, I guess.
And you'll enter combat with some goblins, which is quite an easy battle. They should just be around the waypoint. There they are. You get a fragment just for doing that battle, which is very easy. And then you want to head to this red cactus over here. And this will teleport you back to the camp. These are actually scattered around the Archylte Steppe. And you get a fragment for doing it the first time for each cactus. But then afterwards you can just use them as like a quick travel thing around this area. So there's another fragment.
How did we get back here?
Now head back up here and talk to the same guy.
The unsettling, but I could get used to it.
So, you took care of those little monsters. I have to hand it to you. You're stronger than you look. Thanks for dealing with that little problem. Say, can I ask you another favor? Some of my people are in desperate need of wool. Why don't you go and talk to the folk over there? They'll fill you in.
Now you want to go down the steps to where the new waypoint is and speak to that person for yet another quest.
I heard you. Now that you've proven yourselves, I have another favor to ask of you. I need help collecting wool from the sheep wandering the plains. I appreciate whatever you can do to help. You'll come across some sheep bigger than the others. They're the ones you want. They have the best wool.
We've got to collect 3 tufts of wool off the bigger sheep. You can tell which sheep it is you need because they have the speech bubbles over their heads. So they're all around this area in the Archylte steppe. Once you see one, just approach it and examine it. There's a couple of chests you can loot as well. They can be a bit of a pain to catch sometimes if they see you or if the enemies spawn around them. They do like to start running away, so you have to give chase. But there's one over here. Let's try that again. There we go.
Excuse me.
You can only collect 1 off each sheep, unfortunately, which means you do have to find 3 individual big sheep. Chest over here, I'm just going to grab that. Okay, I can see another speech bubble over there, so let's head over. And this one's being annoying. Yeah, it's running the wrong way. That is very annoying. Oh, why is it every time I reach a chest, I seem to enter combat? Gotcha. I haven't forgotten about that chest. I just saw that sheep running my way though and wanted to get it when I had the chance. So we need 1 more piece of wool. And I can see it just over there. There we go. So that's all 3. And now we can pretty much head back. And we can use the cactus that we activated earlier to get there. So again, you just examine the cactus and you'll port back to the Nomad camp. Now return your 3 types of wool to the quest giver and you'll collect another fragment. Oh, this Grimoire hat's actually very useful. You'll want to give it to the person that you control in battle mostly, so that's Sarah for me. What it does is it doubles the effectiveness of potions, which is very welcome, and it also reveals more information about the enemies when you kill them, so it adds them to your Libra. But the best use for it is the increased potion benefit. So now I'm going to return to the quest giver.
Thank you so much. The quality of this wool is amazing. Here is a little something for your trouble. Only the best hunters can run around these plains without a care in the world. Maybe, just maybe, you two can save us from the peril hanging over our heads.
Now we have another fragment and you'll want to speak to the same person again.
I hear you're looking into what's causing the storm. I don't know much, but I'll tell you what little I know. The storm only comes when it's really hot and sunny outside.
What should we do then? Wait for the weather to change?
There has to be something we can do.
There's a weather controlling device nearby.
Okay, so we actually get to change the weather in this area, and to do that we'll need to use the device that's just up here by the man we spoke to earlier. So there's 2 levers, and the weather changes depending on how you have them. So they can either both be up, they can both be down, or one can be up and one can be down on either side. I'm going to put in the description of this video what each combination does, so when you want to change the weather to a certain combination you'll know how to do it. For now though, we're going to pull both levers down. And now it's sunny, you can speak to this quest guy.
We've learned what's behind that storm. There's a monster prowling the grasslands that's taking all the flan. The beast is massive. It can swallow dozens of flan. And when it does, it kicks up that storm we've been seeing.
A beast that can swallow dozens of flan in one go? No, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
If there are flan here, I'll bet you my favorite bow that there's some connection to the giant flan back in Sunlith.
Maybe the flan that are being swallowed by the monster here are being sent through time to Sunlith.
It's a definite possibility.
So we should go check it out, right?
Look! There's no other explanation. They're being sucked into a time rift.
And then they're reappearing back at Sunlith.
Right. If we can take down this beast, we can stop the giant flan from getting any bigger.
Now, while you can only collect the quest while it's sunny, as it goes sunny, you get that massive dinosaur, Longui it's called, spawn, which prevents you from getting to the enemy that you need, and you can't kill that dinosaur yet. So, now that we've collected the quest, turn the right hand leader into the up position, which creates stormy conditions, and that makes the Longui disappear, so we can reach the enemy that we need. So now he's gone. And like I say, I will put in the description what each combination does.
It seems the monster feral is causing the storm. Defeating him will most likely end all of our problems.
The 4 conditions, weather conditions, are cloudy, stormy, rainy and sunny. And at the moment we've got it in stormy. Now, we will want to just use a Christogen expansion before we fight Feral, since he is quite a tough mob, so you'll want to farm to about 10k points if you don't have them already. And then go to your Crystarium and start spending. So for Sarah, I'm putting the Commando roll up to 41, so levelling that up by 8 points. I'm levelling her Ravager roll to 41, so that's by 6 points. I'm levelling the Saboteur roll to 47, that's by 6 points. And for her roll bonus, I'm going to choose Commando bonus boost. So 41 for Commander, 41 for Ravager, and 47 for Saboteur. And now, moving on to Noel. We're going to put his Commando roll up by 9 points to level 51. And we're going to boost his medic roll by 11 points to level 19. And since we've put his medic level up, we'll give him the medic bonus boost roll level. And now you can continue, once you've done your Crystarium, heading to the waypoint to fight Feral. And I do recommend that you select Delta Attack as your default paradigm, since, like I said before, it is a tough hitting boss. And also for this fight, I do recommend that you control Sarah.
Time's over.
So when you're fighting this guy, you need to be aware that it actually absorbs. That means it gets healed by fire attacks and wind attacks. That's why I said you want to control Sarah. You want to manually set her up with ice and lightning based attacks, since they actually do more damage than they normally would. So no fire and wind, instead cast thunder, or thunder attacks and ice attacks. And that's basically the tactic you'll want to go with. Just use potions when your health drops low. Obviously with the new Grimoire hat accessory, your potions will be doing double what they normally do, so that should pretty much eliminate the need for your medic for the time being for this fight. You basically want to aim for a quick stagger, try and be on full hit points just as you stagger him. And then when he is staggered, it's just a case of switching to Relentless Assault and finishing him off. You should be able to kill him before the stagger ends. And that's pretty much it. They're the tactics for this battle.
Do you think this'll fix the paradox?
Yes. Now let's head back before Snow gets himself into more trouble.
Why, are you worried about him?
What? No. Just figured you'd be itching to see him again.
If there's one thing I know about Snow, it's that he's as tough as a behemoth. I don't worry too much when he's off on his own.
You know, I couldn't do what you two do. Staying apart and doing your own thing even though you love each other. You never know when someone might disappear from your life. Take it from me, you have to make every moment count.
No.
But it's okay. I believe we can change our fate. If I didn't, I wouldn't be here.
And grab your live trigger reward. And that's actually everything we're required to do for the story components of this area. Although there is quite a bit of optional stuff we can undertake now, and what I'm going to do is finish off these cactus quests, side quests. There's 4 more cactuses for us to activate. Each one will give us a fragment, and will open up that fast travel for that part of the zone.
That's why it seems the storm is coming right out of its mouth.
The Grave Ridge area, which is down the south part of the map, is where we're going to be heading to. There's 2 cactuses that we need to activate in this area. Obviously we can only do one at a time, because once we've activated it we get teleported to the Nomad camp. The first one is just over here by this big cactus structure. You'll use your Moogle Hunt to be able to see it. So there's another easy fragment.
The sheep wandering these
Now the next cactus can only be activated in cloudy weather, at least the first time. Once you've done it the first time, you can use it in any weather. So to get to cloudy, we need to put both levers into the up position. So once you've changed it to cloudy, you can head to the next cactus, which is right down in the bottom of the Grave Ridge, right down south of the map. So again, we can just take the shortcut and jump off this cliff. Some of the enemies that spawn can be quite vicious, so just be ready for them. Try and always get a preemptive strike so that you can retry and escape if necessary. This area is also one area that we'll need to fully explore for the quest later on, the side quest to explore so many different areas. But I wouldn't advise doing it until we've unlocked chocobos here, which we do by finishing this cactus quest. Anyway, all the way over here is the next cactus. This one will actually teleport us to the west side of the map. And until we unlock chocobos, it's the only way to get there. So there's our next fragment.
End up.
So we're over here in the west, in the Clearwater Marshes. And our next cactus is just a short walk away. There's 2 more to get. You can just see it shining over there. We'll need to use the Moogle Hunt again. The monster you just saw me encounter is called a Microchew, and it's actually one of the best monsters in the game for farming the potent crystal, which high level monsters will need to level up with. So remember them, because you will be coming back here a lot to kill them and farm them.
We gather wool from sheep to make clothing and blankets.
And now we need to change it to stormy, since the last cactus can only be used for the first time while it is stormy. And to do that, we'll need to put the left hand down, the left hand lever down, and keep the right hand lever in the up position.
You did it. The storm is gone. I don't know how to thank you two.
And we have to go back to the Clearwater Marshes for the last one, which means we first need to go to the yellow cactus down the south of the Grave Ridge in order to teleport there. By the way, these are the cactus things you see, the green ones. You don't want to be using them just yet. They're for another quest we'll be doing later on, but you have to fight a big green cactus called Gigantor every time. And at the minute, he will just kill us, so we won't bother with that. So this is the cactus that will teleport us over. Back to the Clearwater Marshes. There's a few treasures to collect in this area as well, and also a wild artifact, which I will show you. So the cactus is just over here. Again, you'll need to use the Moogle hunt to see it. But don't activate it just yet, since you'll teleport back to the Nomad camp, and we want to just collect the wild artifacts while we're here. Ooh. Yeah, we'll run away from them. So it's actually just over the cliff, the wild artifact, just a little bit further up. Ah, now that's actually a rare spawn, and it's one of the hardest mobs, one of the hardest enemies in this area, and we definitely can't kill it until later. It's called Famoir or something. I thought I'd encounter combat with it, since I didn't remember seeing it in my last game. And then when I realised it was too hard to kill, I had a look up for it on the internet and found out it's actually it's an optional endgame enemy. So yeah, I saw Noel get one shot and thought, yeah, we'll be leaving that for now. Anyway, the wild artifact is just around here. There it is, just down there. You'll just need to move around the other side to collect it. There's a certain satisfaction in throwing Mog off a cliff, isn't there? The only frustrating thing is that he always seems to come back. Anyway, just come around this other side, it's far easy to get. And then just give Mog the chuck down there. There we have it. And now we can head back to the cactus to return us to the Nomad camp, and we'll be avoiding that this time. And this is the last cactus that we need. And it will be the last quest we'll be doing in this area for the moment, but we're still not finished. Now we have chocobos if we speak to this chocobo guy down by the pen.
I've heard about what you've done. You're one of us now. In fact, you may be the bravest of us all. Here, take this chocobo. You deserve it. I never thought I'd be able to hunt on my own.
From the moment we met, I knew I could count on you.
It looks like they have luck and the weather.
So we just want to change it to cloudy weather. For the enemy that we want to farm the crystal for, the cloud burst favours the cloudy weather. And now we've done that, we just head down south again. We want to go to the trench in between this area and the Grave Ridge area. So you can just see it down there. Obviously you can use a chocobo to get down there if you don't want to engage in any battles, but I wouldn't bother since it is only here. And we're looking for the Cloudburst, which is like a bomb type enemy. It took me about 10-15 minutes until I encountered it, but when I did, I got the crystal in the first battle. And there it is, that's the Cloudburst. The reason we want this is because not only is it one of the best Ravagers in the game, bar perhaps the blue Chocobo, but also it has an excellent Feral Link ability which buffs the entire party with an array of buffs. Now unfortunately I haven't got enough engines to put any decent levels into it at the minute, since I used them on my medic earlier. So I may, out of video, go back up to Augusta Tower 300 AF to farm for some potent engines, but that's entirely up to you. If you level it up a little bit, then it can replace your Albino Lord as a much better Ravager. Anyway, now we have that, the only other thing I'm after here is the red Chocobo. A good commando, although expensive to level, so it's up to you if you want to bother investing points into it or not. The red Chocobo, I couldn't be bothered to change the weather. It can be found while cloudy, although it did end up taking me a while. It's much more common to do it while it's sunny. So if you want to go back to the camp and change the weather, you can do. There it is. The trick to fighting any of the Chocobos, because they all can be quite tough, is to stagger it as quickly as you can, probably in Delta attack, and then switch to Relentless Assault, get Noel to launch it in his as a commando, and just burn it down. I'm not actually in Delta attack at the minute, I thought I'd take a chance, but as you can see, it does do quite a bit of damage. So yes, you are definitely better off switching to Delta attack at the very start of the battle. And it does do quite quick wound damage. As you can see, I've already taken a fair amount of wound damage on my Sentinel. So it really is important to stagger it. As soon as it's staggered, that's pretty much the end of the fight then. But, you know, this is completely optional. You might not want to bother collecting this red Chocobo. There is a much more powerful, well, I'd say much more, there's a little bit more powerful commando later on which we can get. And the red Chocobo is, as I say, very expensive to level. It has 99 levels. And until you get to, you know, level 70 plus, it really isn't worth using anyway. Since most of its stats are boosted in the last few levels of levelling. But I've got quite a few monster materials at the minute, so I might just put those into it. Now I'm also going to infuse a few other abilities into my red chocobo. So for instance, I'm going to level the Scutari up to level 20. The reason being is then he gets Ruingar, a very useful commando ability which I can give to the red chocobo. So if we go select monster, then choose our red chocobo and infusion, and we'll choose the Scutari and infuse him, and then we'll pick the Ruingar ability. Very useful. And I'm also going to level up a goblin to level 20 as well. Both these enemies, by the way, which I've just leveled up, the Scutari and the goblin, can be found in the Archylte Steppe, so you haven't got to go far. In fact, I already had both crystals just automatically by going through the area. So it doesn't matter which droplets you use as long as it gets level to 20. Okay, so we've unlocked Scourge, which we can infuse into our red chocobo. And if you really want to as well, you can once you've infused the goblin and it's gone out of your monster pack, you can go and get another goblin, level that up to 19 to get Blindside, since you can only infuse one ability per monster at a time, and give that to your chocobo as well. But out of Blindside and Scourge, Scourge is definitely the most important. So if you're only going to go for one for the time being, do that. Now, like I say, you might want to spend some time levelling up your red chocobo. If you did get it to the maximum level of 99, and in theory you can, since you can collect all the way up to level 5 monster materials in this area. Remember, those micro chews give you the crystals that you need for the final levels of your monster. If you did get it to 99, you would have an extremely powerful member of your party at this point, with about 9k health and about 700 strength, because that's what the red chocobo has at maximum level. But I'm going to leave it for the time being, and I might come back and do some farming for the red chocobo a bit later. For now though, make sure you have about 10k crystal gem points. I didn't actually record putting my points in, so you can have a look at how I did it. For Sarah, I did her Ravager to 49, her Saboteur to 50, and Medic to 19. And for her roll bonus, I chose the ATB +1. And for Noel, I did his Commando to 60, 9 points in there, and 11 points in his Medic to bump that up to level 30. And I gave him the Medic bonus boost, number 2. And my chocobo is level 45 plus at the minute. So I might do some more farming for him to level him up a bit more. Of course, if you do that, then in your party you'll have Noel and Sarah both as Ravagers, with your red chocobo as the commander, so you can still keep that relentless assault paradigm. Also, you can, if you're so inclined, find the blue chocobo in the western part of the map in the Clearwater Marshes. And that's a very powerful Ravager once leveled up to 99, probably the best in the game. At this moment, it is a very tough enemy to defeat. I did try and farm for it, to collect it, but it just kept killing me, so I gave up in the end. I might come back later for it. But even if you do get it, again, it's very expensive to level, and it only really has a use once it's 70 plus, so it's up to you whether you think it's worth it or not. So I'm still not going to be using this red chocobo just yet, since it's only level 46. But yeah, so it's completely up to you what sort of farming you do at this stage. It's all completely optional. If you do a lot, then the game's going to be even more of a face walk than it already is. But anyway, when you're done, you can return to the Historia Crux. And for our next destination, we'll be going back to the Sunneth Waterscape, since the big tomato, is now weakened. We'll have a chance of killing it. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time.